Good morning. So it's actually day 4, but it's just been so hectic that I didn't get to post about day 3. Long story, but we'll get into that later. So day 3 has probably been my favorite. So our first stop in the morning was a session with a school that focuses on special education for deaf students, and they walked us through all of the resources they have available, and it was really truly amazing, the curriculum that they're developing for deaf students here in Uruguay, and how you essentially have lessons that go along with whatever the general education teacher might be teaching. And they were explaining how over here it's unfortunately a challenge that some students or some kids are not made aware of the fact that these resources exist, because when they're born and they're diagnosed as deaf, they go work with doctors, and then the focus becomes more medical treatments as opposed to educational treatments or educational options to help them assimilate into society as they get older. The idea that there's no universal sign language. If you're a Uruguayan student who is deaf and speaks with sign language, and you're an American student that speaks in sign language, then you wouldn't necessarily be able to communicate because you learn different sign languages. And that's not bad or good, just something I thought was interesting. Also, language is considered a language just like any other. So it wouldn't be that they speak Spanish and sign language. It would be that sign language is their first language and Spanish is their secondary language. After that, they took us to a school which was in an area of a lower socioeconomic status, and the students there came from very challenging backgrounds. The teachers and administrators there were sharing with us that some of the students live alone and are coming from environments of gang violence and drug use. And what was really, really amazing is kids are kids everywhere. Like, they were, running around. There was chaos. There was energy and excitement and friends meeting each other, and, the giggles and the hiding of the faces and the shy ones and the ones in your face asking you questions. Oh, Estados Unidos, Estados Unidos. And they were so excited, like, which state are you from in the United States? And I would say, Nueva Jersey, and they wouldn't know where that is. I'd say, Nueva York. And they'd be like, Nueva York. And get so excited. So I'm working New Jersey in there, guys. I'm trying. These kids who've come from these incredibly difficult backgrounds, and you can see it on their innocent faces. Like, I really truly believe you can see a person's soul in their eyes. This was a technical school, so they teach these kids life skills because the dropout rate was so high, because they either needed to go work or they just didn't have any family system to keep them accountable, that they created this school to at least offer them other opportunities and roadways and pathways to life, so that they didn't feel like they had to just be on the street. And so they offer like cooking, they offer like shop class, and there were just so many different opportunities there. They were also doing math and science and all of that, but more hands-on skills for them so they could potentially go right into the job market if they chose to. And so their cooking class, and I'm talking, they were in chef's uniforms, the kids and everybody. They were behind a glass screen. You could watch them in the kitchen, beautiful kitchen. And they were making us lunch. They made us lunch. They were dressed up. We had our own servers. They were standing so respectfully, and they served us our drinks. They served us our food. They asked us if we needed anything else. See, these kids who've had these rough upbringings, and here they are serving us. Like, who are we? Like, who am I that you're serving me lunch? And they dressed up. They had the white collared shirts, the nice pants, and they took the time to give us that respect, and to be treated as such was really just very touching. And the food was probably the best tasting food I've had. And then we went to an elementary school. That's my vibe, because you had the same kind of dynamics, right? The kid who was wanting to get all of your attention, or the really shy kid, or the kid who was like really excited to tell you a fun fact they learned. And this was in a rural area. The elementary school was in a very rural area. I'm talking, it took us about 2 hours to get to the school, and it was all just fields. But the school itself is beautiful. And the story behind the school is really fascinating, because the principal, I think it was his great-grandfather or grandfather, who built the school, and then him and his wife, principal and his wife, live at the school. One of the teachers that works there went to the school as a student. So it's 100% community vibes. And it was just, you could feel the passion, you could feel the enthusiasm, you can feel the positive energy. And yes, of course, a lot of it is, a presentation and you're on your best behavior and all of that for sure. But you could tell that this was the underlying feeling here was genuine love for learning. And that was a really refreshing thing to see. And so basically what this principal did, it let us off in little groups. We each got a guide. And then they took you to different stations that students ran totally independently. There was no supervision, and they did an amazing job. They had us measure trees. They had us take temperature. They had us do some math. They had us learn about their projects that they're working on. They're doing they had a butterfly garden, and they've also planted several trees. They've created a greenhouse. And actually, they're competing in a competition with NASA. So amazing, this greenhouse. We came back, so 2 hours to come back, a little bit of rest, and then we had dinner. And then we had to get on a 12:30 midnight bus. It's an overnight bus to where I am now, Rivera, which is what we are calling our province cities. This is considered a province. So we are in a whole different area of Uruguay now, and different hotel, everything. And we're in a small group. So now it's just 4 of us, where we started at 18. So now just 4 of us are going to be here, and the other groups have gone to different parts of Uruguay. And essentially, we're going to come back together afterward and debrief. That was day 3, and now I am ready for day